Hello and welcome to Getting Started with Affinity Photo 2, a course of free tutorials, hints and tips on this excellent photo editing software. In this tutorial, we will look at how we can use Affinity Photo to sharpen your images, but also to avoid inducing any artifacts associated with sharpening in the process. This shot, it's pleasant enough, but it's very soft. The focusing is not as good as it should be, so we will use the sharpening process to turn it into a much crisper and better image. I usually find it is better to do the other editing processes first before undertaking sharpening. I have made colour and tonal adjustments, and I'm now ready to adjust the sharpness. In Affinity Photo, there are several ways to work with sharpness. We access live filters. We have a choice of Unsharp Mask, Clarity, and High Pass. Each of these can be used either alone or in combination. Also, in the toolbar on the left-hand side, we have a Sharpen Brush. This can be used for sharpening localized areas. So if we open live filters, I will usually start with Unsharp Mask. Unsharp Mask is used to apply universal changes to the whole image. As usual, there are a number of sliders that we can work with. There's radius, factor, and threshold. I rarely use threshold. I will usually keep that at 0. Radius, we can pick the number of pixels that we want, but the best results are usually achieved with 1 pixel radius. This is the most natural thing to do. We can use the slider, or we can type the number into the box on the right-hand side. We then use the factor slider to achieve the degree of sharpness that we want. With many photos, if we go too far to the right and achieve maximum sharpness, it will induce artifacts. So it's usually better to stop short of doing this. Once we're happy with that, we'll come out of it. We now have a new layer labelled Unsharp Mask. The next live filter we'll work with is Clarity. Clarity works on the tonal contrast and can be used to make an image more clear or less clear, and this has an effect on sharpness as well. Going to the right improves clarity, going to the left reduces it. If we go too far, the sky can look a little bit unnatural. The clouds are now too sharp, and if we zoom in, we will start to notice some noise. This is an artifact that has been induced by using the clarity filter. So in this case, we do not want to go to 100% clarity, so we reduce the strength of the effect until it looks totally natural. Once we are happy with the results, we will close that filter, and the next steps we will take will be using Live Filter High Pass. This is a much more gentle form of sharpening. When we open it, the screen goes immediately grey, but if we go to blend mode and choose either soft light or overlay, it goes back to colour. Now taking the slider to the right has a gentle effect on the sharpness. With most photos, this is actually my preferred method, and I will use high pass more than I will use the other sharpening filters. Usually we will make a small adjustment, in this case 2.7 pixels, but you can adjust the slider until you're happy with the result. It is your personal taste. You won't usually get any artifacts using light filter, which is very beneficial. Whilst excess grain can occur across the whole image, most other artifacts are most likely to be seen at high contrast edges, particularly sharply defined edges. So if we zoom in close, we click our filters on and off, we can see if there are any filters, any artifacts that we don't want in this image. If there are, we can go back into the individual sliders and adjust each filter. I'm now happy with this result, but there's one more step we can take to make the edges even better defined. If we go back into a second layer of Unsharp Mask, we're applying it for a second time. If we go to blend mode and we choose darken. Now, as opposed to the first Unsharp filter where we used a radius of 1, we're actually using a radius of 100 pixels. By using darken mode, we get a very crisp edge at sharply defined edges without inducing any artifacts. This is a very simple and very effective way of creating well-defined edges. If we take the factor too high though, you can see it looks totally artificial. So we keep the factor low, usually at about 0.5. I'm happy with these results, so I'm zooming back out so that I can see the whole photo. You can see we've got a nice sharp image without any artifacts. If we slide back on the history slider to the beginning, we can see how soft this photo was to start with. The flowers and grasses were not well defined. But if we go back through the editing process to the right-hand end of the history, we can see how sharp it is and how good the results are. It looks totally natural. As indicated at the beginning, you also have a Sharpen Brush and Tool panel, which can be used for making localized changes. Every photo is different in how we use the combination of filters. Thank you for tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you again in our next tutorial. Goodbye.